Where's Bree? I got your message, Felix. You wanted to see me? Bridget is out with a friend tonight. Come down. There's something I need to talk to you about. I know. That honesty is important to you, so I'd like you to hear me out, Adrian, alright? A long time before Shadow Moth, your nemesis, Paris was terrorized by a different figure. Less of a supervillain, more of a mob boss. People knew him as the Butterfly. That man was my uncle. My parents died on my 13th birthday. I didn't witness it or anything. It felt more like they just disappeared. With no other relatives, I had to leave London and move to Paris into the care of my uncle, the wealthy and reclusive Richard Spinks. My father's brother, a businessman with little time for adults and even less for children. We had never met before, but suddenly we were each other's last surviving family. We were also each other's reminders of what we lost. It was difficult to bond. My uncle was always busy, and I couldn't speak much French, so I spent a lot of time alone. Of course I had private tutors, but the idea of making friends my own age was unthinkable. My only comfort was the library in his mansion. I would hide away there and get lost in the books for hours. My life had been turned upside down. I was stuck in a strange place in a foreign country, with a relative I'd never met. I didn't even know how to grieve when he looked so much like my father. So I relied on the only thing I did know and hid inside my studies. For a long time, books and inattentive tutors were all I had. I forgot how to connect with people. I became brilliant but distant, just like my uncle. A cold, empty statue, like a sphinx. I'm sure you were still a nice guy underneath it all though, right? I was not. We had met back then, Adrian. Would have hated each other. I didn't know any of that. I'm sorry, Felix. I'm not trying to guilt trip you. Don't apologize. In fact, you're the first person I've spoken to about this in a very long time. At any rate, it was 2 years before I felt confident enough to attend school. More like I was running out of books to read instead, but I told myself it was confidence. An attitude which was instantly shattered, of course. By Plague? No. Bridget. Are you dumb? Is that really the first thing you ever said to her? Well, I didn't say it in French. I don't think she understood. From that point on, she tried everything to get my attention. That sounds so romantic. It was unbearable. Only a weekend and I already detested school. I would have backed out if not for Fu's stellar timing. To this day, I have no idea how he got into my uncle's house, but I came across the ring in the library, right on the very top shelf where only I would look. I couldn't tell you why I put it on. It just kind of feels like you should, right? Right. Ugh. Shh. What the...
Greetings, chosen one.
So I met Plague. It all sounded reasonable at first. Paris was in danger and I could help.
Just say, transformez-moi.
Looking back, I probably thought I was dreaming. Me too! It was so incredible! I just did whatever Plague told me. Exactly. Did you meet Ladybug? Not then. That first night was just Paris and me. And the Akuma, of course. Mr. Pigeon? He was your first Akuma? Not exactly my fondest memory. What did you do? I handled the situation with the grace and poise of Chat Noir. So you totally bombed? Yes. Aside from proposing to Bridget last year, it was the scariest experience of my life. Where'd you send the birds? I did figure out my power, at least. London, probably. It was all I could do to drag myself home. Flag was very proud, ecstatic. I was just happy that it was over, and I could return to my blissfully dual life. That's when he told me about the black cat curse. The what? Flag's never told me about any curse. Yes, you're welcome. Well, maybe the term curse is circumstantial. It might have been fine for you. You're aware that the black cat and Ladybug Miraculous are opposites, yin and yang. Creation and destruction. Not always. Used to be fortune, good and bad luck. Throughout history, the miraculous holders had been kept far apart. The Ladybug of Fortune in Egypt, coexisting and keeping the world in balance. The black cat of misfortune in Greece. But here in Paris in 1999, a third miraculous awakened, the butterfly of metamorphosis. and the world faced a threat big enough to bring them together for the first time. Now, you and your ladybug have quite straightforward powers which stay dormant until you transform, but the power fortune was more nebulous, like a constant aura, leaking out all the time. My alarm clock started to fail every day. I became increasingly late and underprepared. For me, it was like breaking 100 mirrors all at once. I would lose or break important things, trip over my own feet like a child. And that's not even starting on the grief Plague put me through just for fun. Bridget was having a much more pleasant time with her own powers, which boosted her good luck tenfold, but of course we barely knew each other then. She tried to get to know me, of course, always friendly, always kind. Bridget poured the positive energy of the ladybug into all sorts of thoughtful acts, but I was too fixated on my own problems to understand her. She was just another annoying classmate. Truthfully, I still don't know what she sees in me, but back then, I think she could tell I needed someone. She never backed down despite how little I gave in return.
Do you want one? Felix, look out!
Whoa! Nice save, Bree! Ugh.
Hey, Felix, is everything okay? Because, if there's anything you want to talk about.
But then you found each other through the miraculous, fell in love, saved Paris, and lived happily ever after, right? That's how Bridget always talks about it. Ugh, my faultless, benevolent, breathtakingly beautiful fiancé is full of lies. Huh? Listen, the power of fortune may sound abstract, but there are strict rules to it. A black cat is tailed by misfortune and must tread lightly, planning for the worst and harnessing unstable environments to their advantage. It's a non-stop strategy game. A ladybug invites fortune and must seize opportunities as they appear. Hesitating or overthinking will only result in missed chances. One leads with their head and the other with their heart. And so, when they're together in the same place,